Hi everybody, welcome to Unit 1 of English 101. So I'm not going to go through the schedule of activities and enumerate each and everything that y'all will be doing in class, so please refer to the schedule of activities for specific assignments and specific due dates. Really the purpose of this video is to go over the in-class writing and the process and major assignment work that we'll be doing throughout the unit to kind of give you an overview of the things that you'll receive grades for. So like I said, the purpose of this video isn't really to kind of go through step by step every single thing that we'll be doing and exactly how to do it and how to navigate each individual part of the modules. If you're having trouble with that, what I recommend doing is reaching out to me, asking for an office hours appointment, or seeing a tutor in the Academic Success Center. But hopefully this video gives you an overview of our goals for the unit and what you'll be doing in the unit. Let's start with reading assignments. So you'll see certain reading assignments on the schedule of activities. And basically when it comes to reading assignments, what I expect you to do is read and annotate like it says in the schedule. So you can do that any way that you want to. There's no right or wrong way to annotate a text, but just try to highlight things that you think you want to remember, things that you have questions about, things that you want to react to, etc. And so the schedule of activities will say which chapters to read. And there's a few different ways that you can do that. So in the syllabus and in the course overview in the Start Here module, there's a link to our textbook, which is OpenStax's Writing Guide with Handbook, and I have it here, right here. You can bookmark that, and if it says to read a certain chapter, you can just go directly to that chapter by going to the website for Writing Guide with Handbook. Another thing you can do is you can download a PDF, and if you wish to, you can print out all of it or sections of it. It is a pretty large textbook, so I'll warn you about that beforehand. And you can also order a print copy through Amazon. It's only about $30. So those are all ways that you can find the chapters that you're supposed to be reading, read them and annotate them. If you sign up for an account through OpenStax, you can actually save your highlights and annotations right here on this website as well. If you're interacting with the PDF copy, you can do so in Adobe Acrobat. So there's all kinds of different ways to read and annotate your chapters in your Writing Guide with Handbook. If you have any questions or if you want more guidance on how to do that electronically especially, reach out to me and I'll be happy to try to give you some tips on how to do that. So those are a few ways that you can go ahead and get started with the Writing Guide with Handbook. One other way that I want to talk about, you'll see nested in the modules that there are links to each chapter, and this might be an easier way to interact with the textbook. You just go directly to the module, click on the link to the chapter, and it'll open up that chapter in the textbook right there in D2L. So there's no need to worry about going to the OpenStax website or logging in or anything like that. You can just click on it directly from inside the module and it'll bring it up. The platform that's being used to make this possible is called LiveCarta, and I have that shown on the screen right here. Now you don't have to go to LiveCarta for anything. The first time that you click on the link from inside of D2L, it'll ask you to purchase the textbook, and this textbook is free, so you don't have to pay anything. You're purchasing it for $0, and you don't even have to put in any credit card information or anything like that. You just click the link that says buy now, and it should pop up for you. If you want to go to the LiveCarta website and log in, or use the LiveCarta app for your mobile device, you use your Midlands Tech email, first name, middle initial, last name at midlandstech.edu. And then you can use the password reset tool to give yourself a password that you'll remember. And that is right here, forgot password. So LiveCarta is a really cool app because not only does it allow you to read the content from the book within D2L, but it has a really cool app that allows you to annotate the text. It allows you to interact with the text on a mobile device very easily. It allows you to use text to speech if you really have a hard time remembering things that you've read. Maybe a different modality is something that will help you out with remembering some of the content from the textbook. So it does all those things. It's a really great and cool app that makes you able to interact with this text in ways that maybe isn't necessarily something you can do just by going to the OpenStax website. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to me about that. So let's get into the actual content of the unit. We're going to start, I always like to start by the portfolio assignment, the major assignment that we're working up towards at the end of the unit. As I said in the first video for this course, the way that this course is organized is you've got one big major assignment, and throughout the unit, we're doing little pieces of that assignment bit by bit to where by the end, you aren't biting it all off at once. You've done all the work or most of the work for it already. And the only thing you have to do really at the end of the unit is put it all together, everything that you've done previously over the course of several weeks. So your first essay is a digital narrative essay. If the text looks a little bit different on your screen than it does on mine, don't worry. The gist of the assignment is still the same. It might just be a few minor edits as we go throughout the course. So digital narrative essay. So it's a narrative essay, and most of you have probably written a narrative essay previously, and you'll write it based on this specific topic that is in the assignment description. So with this one, it is a moment when you realize that technology was a double-edged sword. There's lots of activities in the module that'll help you come up with a topic and specific details, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to think of a topic to write about. You're going to come up with the details of it, so things like the story arc, the dialogue, the descriptive details, and things like that. They're going to put it all together in terms of the audio portion of the digital essay by drafting a script. That's the part that you'll read into a microphone like I am right now, that will create the audio portion of the narrative essay. You'll draft a visual portion of the narrative essay with a storyboard. So basically thinking about what's happening at part A, part B, part C visually, just kind of planning that out and mapping that out. And I'll give you a template to do that. And then finding some pictures, clip art, things like that will help you with that. And then by the end of the unit, you're going to put all that together, your script, your storyboard, your pictures, your sound effects, all of that together to a digital narrative essay. I won't go over every last detail of all this right here, but just this is the gist of what we're doing. And please reach out to me if you have any questions, or an ASC tutor if you have any questions as well. But you're going to have plenty of time to work on this, and I'm going to give you plenty of guidance on how to complete this throughout the course of the unit. When you turn in your digital narrative essay at the end of the unit, I'm asking for just a reflection on your choices that you made. So you'll do that in the discussions, but remember, that is part of your process work for this unit. So make sure that you complete that, and that's going to be around the time that the digital narrative essay is due. And again, that's in the discussions. Remember, the schedule of activities says exactly where to go. So in discussions or to the Dropbox. The other activities that we've got going on are, let's start from the beginning. So how are we going to get there? How are we going to start on this? So we're going to start with these chapter toolkits that come with the Writing Guide with Handbook. So these take you through the process of thinking of a topic, thinking of the descriptive details, thinking of what details are important for the story. And that's what you'll be doing in the first part of this. We'll do this as our in-class activities. You'll notice that this is labeled on the schedule as an in-class activity. If this is a virtual synchronous or in-person class, we're going to do these in class, literally. If you're a fully online class, asynchronous, you'll do these on your own, but this is think of this as part of that 3 hours a week that we would normally be spending in class, that you'll be doing these. So it takes you through the first parts of generating some ideas and just kind of figuring out what you're going to write about in these first few parts. And you can refer to the schedule of activities for when I expect you to have these done by. I split this up into 2 parts. So you don't have to do it all at once, because it is kind of a lot to do at once. But you'll continue with the next one, thinking about more. So once you've thought about what specifically you want to write about, you want to think about, well, how do I make this interesting? How do I make this an actual narrative and an actual story? And that's what you'll do in the final parts of the Chapter 4 toolkit. The Chapter 18 toolkit is all about planning the audiovisual aspects of the digital narrative essay. So how am I going to use sound to get my audience's attention or to tell my story? How am I going to use the visual modality to tell my story? So what are some specific ways that I can use the advantages of this audiovisual mode to tell the story, to get my audience's attention, to make my story interesting? So you'll think about that in the toolkit. And then there's an example storyboard down here at the bottom. Again, I'm going to give you all a template to do your own storyboard that you will submit to the Dropbox. Our next one. So once you've done all that planning work in the chapter toolkits, you're going to draft a script. So what do you want the audio portion to be? Basically, you're literally telling the story that you're wanting to tell in words. So it gives you some tips here on how to get started with that, but that's basically what you're doing, is planning out the audio portion of the digital narrative essay, telling the story, what happened. You'll submit that to the Dropbox, and then you'll do a storyboard for your narrative essay. And again, take everything that you've done in those toolkits and just translate it to this thing that you're doing as your process work. So the toolkits are your thinking and your planning. There's no right or wrong answers. The toolkits do give you a lot of great examples to help you get started. But again, this is all planning. This is all thinking. This is no right or wrong answers. But take that planning and that thinking that you did in those toolkits and then use that as you draft your script and as you draft your storyboard. And so by this point, you should have a pretty clear picture of what you're going to say for the audio portion, what you want to include for the visual portion, and maybe even how you want to start putting it all together. So you got your script and your storyboard, and those are going to help you plan and finalize the audio and visual components of the essay. I'm also going to give you an opportunity to revise your scripts based on my feedback. So I find a lot of times that students will submit a script, but maybe it's missing some really important narrative elements like dialogue or like sense imagery. So we're going to do a revision of the script to make sure that you did the best possible job that you can do on it before you start actually recording the audio portion of the essay. And then towards the end of the unit, you'll just start putting it all together. You can do that. The simplest way to do that is with PowerPoint. And I'll put some tutorials in the module on how to do that. You can also use some other things that I'll put links to in the module. Powtoons is a good one, but there's all kinds of different things out there. iMovie's fine as well. Anything that you're already comfortable with, please by all means go ahead and use that to put your digital narrative essay together. Or you can follow one of the links that I've put in the module and see if there's something that you might want to try in there. So that is our overview of Unit 1. One more thing that I want to mention is the only other thing that I haven't talked about so far in this overview video is the annotation assignments. So again, it'll say in the schedule of activities how I want you to complete that and get your credit. So sometimes it's going to say, do this in Hypothesis or do this in VideoAnt. So there will be directions in the module about kind of how to do that and that guide you through that. But you want to make sure that you follow those instructions and you do it in that manner. So if it's an annotation assignment, what you're going to do is you're basically going to click on the link that's in the module to find the article, read over it, and then annotate it using the guidance that's given to you in the module, using some of the questions and prompts that I've given to you already in that particular document. So that covers our Unit 1 introduction. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or reach out to an ASC tutor. I look forward to seeing the work that you complete throughout the unit.